so it is RFL Season 15, round number 2 here at the Circuit of the Americas. It is 5 red lights and it's lights out and away we go. Who's going to get a good start off the line as we head into turn number 1? Oh, that is contact into turn 1 as a Ferrari of Jatin around, and it's R34 who has taken the lead. And that was a spin there from a V-carb in the background. I think that was as well. Vapid's dropped down to 18th as well. Tom Dorian up to P4 as well, but Tarrier having a look into the hairpin corner up the inside. He goes for the lead to retake it away from the Alpine, and now they go side by side down the DRS straight with Danny M7 looking into the slipstream of Tarrier as well. Is it going to potentially be 3 wide as we head to turn 13? Tarrier trying to defend from Danny, but it's 3 wide in to turn 13. 3 into 1. Can it go successfully? It can. It can indeed, and it's Danny M7. He is now trying to have a look around the outside of R34, but the Alpine driver having none of it, and now it's 3 wide again. Does it go into 1 this time? Oh, they've all made contact with each other. Tom Gorian goes through. Can he take the lead? He makes a bit of contact with Danny, and now Tom does take the lead around the outside of R34, and it is Tarrier, the pole sitter, down to P4, but now heading into the final corner is up the inside from Tarrier, trying to get back into those podium positions. And after lap 1 it's Tom Gorian who leads the way, and action further back as well with Mr. Diaz up to P6 in the Sauber there. Having a wee look, but it's Tarrier in R34 and Danny M7 round. Danny M7 round in the Red Bull there. Unfortunately we missed the first part of that, but it's again 3 wide here, and can it go this time? Oh, it's just about safely through. A lot of action going on. Tarrier up the inside once again into the hairpin corner. Tarrier back up to 2nd position, and it is nose to tail as we can see in the background all through the field. And Danny M7 side by side with Ben Max as Jatin gets past Small Girl for P9 as well, or it's still side by side. 2 sets of side by side action here. Who's going to come out on top in both of those? Is Danny up to P7 there, and as Jatin gets up to P9 as well. Lots of action in this opening couple of laps, and it is side by side between Ben Max and Jatin, and it's the Ferrari man Jatin getting through and up to P8 there. Tom Gorian now under pressure from Tarrier. Tarrier having a wee look, and the Ferrari man will get DRS down the back straight here. And is it going to be a good effect from Tom, as those Saubers do indeed switch positions? But we go back towards a battle for P1. It's Tarrier with the DRS, made slight contact, the two of them there. Tarrier retakes the lead on this action as we can see further back. Danny M7 having a look on the Sauber and gets past Mr. Diaz, or do they? It's Ghosted is the Sauber there. Danny still just about able to get through. Jatin trying as well. He's going to hang it around the outside, and Jatin up to what is now P7 for himself. Danny and Jatin making overtakes there, as this overtakes between Ben Max and Small Girl. They were side by side momentarily. The McLaren going a bit wide. That's going to allow the pass of Small Girl through, and Mr. Diaz pits there for Sauber. He's obviously going to be fixing that front wing damage, but we're going to look in towards turn 1. Danny M7 spins at turn 1 again. Contact with another car and loses a little bit of time, unfortunately, for the Red Bull, but remains P6. Now, oh, that is Jatin. Was that looking on Danny? Side by side between the two of them. Apologies, we missed a little bit of that, but Jatin up to P6 now in that Ferrari car. And Tom Gorian still within DRS of Tarrier for the lead. And there is action further back as Small Girl and now Apple side by side, and there's contact with the Williams on to the Haas car there. They're still facing the right direction, thankfully, for the both of them. But Small Girl up to P8 now in this particular battle. Vapid trying to get ahead of the McLaren of Gnarly. as it is side by side between Polar and Jatin up ahead. We'll have a look towards that if possible. And yep, Jatin up to P5 now, making his way through, and it's Danny up the inside now of Polar into turn 1. This time is able to make the pass, and up to P6 now for Danny, and his position changing further back as well as Crossfrog gets up to P11 ahead of Bin Max in that McLaren car, who is lining themselves up for a move. Oh, that's a McLaren off circuit there in the background. Bin Max losing out there, and it's going to be the Alpine of Apple having a look up the inside with Small Girl into turn 13. Side by side they go, a little bit of contact. It's the Alpine driver for this evening who is now up to P8 there. Kozlesko might be going through. Who's that pitting? That is Polar into the pits, as well as Apple. Alpine as well. Side by side. Could be. Is it going to be 3 wide? 2 Haas cars involved with a battle of the Williams of Simon. A little switch back from Small Girl. Could that work out for them? Side by side. Still it is. Into the fast lefts and rights. But it is Small Girl heading up to P7 now. The 2 McLarens switching positions there. We can see them approaching in the background as well, but it is side by side. And the Williams goes up the inside. Do they make the move stick? It's still remaining side by side. Oh, that's the McLaren going wide in the background. But this battle we are still going to keep our eyes on, because it's the inside line for Simon. Do they complete the move, or is it going to be Haas coming back? And it does look like Simon up to P7 for the moment. Into the pits goes the Haas of Small Girl. So that will be them heading down. Simon defending with all they can into the first corner, but it's going to be Vapid trying for the move. A wee switchback could be as well. That is a nice move there from Vapid up to P7. Yellow flag. Was that Danny? It is Danny. What's happened to him? What has happened to Danny M7? I cannot tell. There's a yellow flag again. Simon trying to break that, so there's a swap in the battle for P10 side by side. We'll have a look at this battle as Jamie gets up to the top 10 positions now. Any action further back in the field? Yes, there is. It's the V-Carb and the Alpines side by side. Battle of 2 drivers already hitted, and it's going to be Apple who has got into that P13 position. Well, there's going to be some action here. We're going to have a look at this side by side here in the battle for P11. Apple getting ahead, and then Polar trying a move on Verstappen, getting very close to the back of that McLaren as well. And Tom Gorian's got a penalty in P2. Not ideal for him there. Okay, we'll quickly try and get Aston Martin back in. We can see side by side there. And R34 on some hard tyres now. They slot into P8, and a little bit of cleaner, not too much, but a good outlap here from R34, and it could put Tom under a wee bit of pressure. Where am I looking here? It's side by side. Hutchins up to P2 ahead of Tom Gorian now, as the move is complete into turn number 13 there. And we're going to look further back, because under pressure is Kozlesko from R34. Polar gets ahead of Gnarly as well, but it's going to be side by side for this P7 position. And R34 overtakes Kozlesko. And action as Apple gets ahead of Jamie as well into turn number 13. And side by side Verstappen as well, making up positions here. Oh, and it's trying up the inside back is Gnarly. And Verstappen able to hold the position into the pits. Danny M7. So we'll see what tyre he chooses. And it's going to be some hard tyres for Danny M7. Battle for 13th. And it's side by side. Mr. Diaz up the inside. as R34 gets ahead of Vapid 74 when the pit stops up ahead happen, but it's side by side in this trio of cars. Once again, Mr. Diaz up to P12. Danny also gets ahead of Cross Frog and into the pits for Tom and Jatin. And we'll see what tyres it's going to be for these two. It's going to be hards for Jatin and it's going to be hard for Tom as well. And we'll see now where these two slot in. Vapid's also into the pits too for Mercedes, and there we can see R34 is indeed ahead of Tom as he comes out the pits. And where does Vapid slot in as well? He's going to slot in. Is it going to be ahead of Danny or is it going to be behind Danny? 7 we'll see into turn 1. It is ahead of Danny for Vapid. So it is LTK Tari who leads the way at this moment in time for Friday. It's Hutchins P2, those two yet to stop, of course. Then it's R34 P3. He has made his pit stop. Simon's P4, but there's battling going on as Jatin gets ahead of Apple for P7 there. Not quite just dramatic effect, but just as we've mentioned, it's getting a look at the braking zone. Danny M7 though is up and ahead of Vapid as Tarrier hitting from the lead of the race. That now puts Hutchins as your race leader for the moment. Tarrier has put on the hard tyre, and now where will he slot in comparison to R34, who's heading down the main straight and go on board with him? But it's going to be Tarrier who stays ahead as Kozlesko also pits, and it's the two Williams drivers switching positions into turn 1. Tom Gorian has stopped. Oh, we get pretty close to each other there. And Simon having yet to pit, as Gnarly also is into the pits for McLaren as well. It is going to be DRS for Kozlesko down the start-finish straight. And will he be able to get himself ahead? Crossfrog defends the inside line. So Kozlesko goes to the other side as the Alpine comes out of the pits, but Crossfrog defending his position there and is able to successfully keep Kozlesko behind for the moment at least. But around the outside goes the Mercedes into turn 2, and that is how he gets ahead. Danny M7 right on the tail of Verstappen, who has gone slightly wide, loses the back end slightly and loses also 11th position to Vapid 74, and slightly further ahead it's Mr. Diaz on the tail of Polar. Yep, that is Polar side by side. Oh, Polar defends. That was a little bit late there, but they avoid contact with each other. But a dive from the V-carb again. We've not got the best angle there, unfortunately. But Polar defends that position for now. And it's now going to be DRS open for Danny M7. Is it going to be having a look up the inside? Yes it is, as a yellow flag comes out. But Danny, do they make the move stick? No, still it's side by side, so it's through turn 2. But the Red Bull swoops around the outside and takes that P8 position. Simon and Verstappen switching positions as well. And into the hairpin corner. Oh, that's pass of Crossfrog making a mistake. They're going to lose a couple of positions there from that mistake, and it's side by side. Danny gets ahead of Mr. Diaz there. We can see there, and it's Simon ahead now of that Aston Verstappen as Hutchins now pits from what was the lead of the Grand Prix. And the Sauber going on to a set of the medium compound tyres. Vapid now all over the tail of Small Girl here, and a little bit of a DRS train forming here, but Vapid has had a good exit. He's going to go side by side as well. Up the inside goes Vapid, and is that move complete from Vapid? It is indeed, and up to P9 for the Mercedes driver. But it is Tanu who leads the way by 5.5 seconds to R34 in the Alpine. Then it's Tom Gorian in third for the moment, with Jatin sitting P4 as Danny gets ahead of his teammate Jamie into turn number 13. Jamie, having not yet stopped, is going to be DRS for Vapid, who is side by side and now is ahead of the cyber of Mr. Diaz. It is his Lesco making positions as well, and it is side by side. Let's go having a look on the red. Oh, sorry, that's Vapid having a look on the Red Bull there. Sorry about that. My mistake there. Getting the two Mercedes a bit confused there. But side by side still, Mr. Diaz and Simon side by side. Oh. And Hutchins for the Sauber team setting the fastest lap. But now Jamie trying to break the toe from Vapid. And DRS open obviously for the Mercedes, but not enough to go for a move as Verstappen 95 pits for his first time. But meanwhile, Vapid making the move, and the two of them still side by side, Jamie and Vapid. Who is going to be the first to yield? It is Vapid the first to yield. So Jamie nicely defending that P7 for the moment. Meanwhile, Tom Gordon's under pressure from Jatin, and those two now side by side in the DRS zone. Hutchins trying to get in on the action as well is he, and Jatin now making the move up to third position, and Hutchins looking on to the tail of Tom Gordon there, trying to see if there's any sort of space to make him move side by side, these two, as Vapid gets ahead of Jamie, but Jamie fights back in to the turn 13 corner. And still, they go side by side. Vapid with the inside line this time, and it is Vapid up to P7. Is Small Girl going to get in action as well for the Haas team? He certainly made an attempt at a move, but Jamie a good defence in that particular occasion. And those tyres obviously 17 laps old now, and Jamie into the pits for Red Bull there. And so yellow flag. Simon has had some sort of issue. They're facing the wrong way. And are they minus a front wing as well? I think they are. Into the pits they go as well. Switching places. Mr. Diaz and Verstappen 95. We're not on a great camera angle there, but it's Mr. Diaz up to 13th position there with some DRS, and back towards and cross. Frog retires, and it's a safety car. Safety car deployed. This is the moment. This is the crucial part of the race here. Safety car into the pits now, and when is Tarrier going to put his foot to the floor? He's done it before the final corner, it looks like, and yes, he's got a good gap, and it's no overtaking till the start finish line, so that's going to make it 3 wide into the first corner. Who's going to come out on top in this battle? Up the inside goes Tom Gordon. Can he make the double overtake stick? It looks like he has, and he has done so. Tom Gordon up to second, R34 just behind, with Jatin and Danny also behind. It's a penalty for Jatin there, not ideal for the Ferrari man. 2 Mercedes behind as well, trying to take any sort of advantage that could happen from ahead of them. But now Tarrier already has 2.2 seconds. The two Saubers switch positions, but R34 is under pressure from Jatin, who's had a good exit out the hairpin corner, and it's now side by side. It's not going to be any DRS this lap, and it's going to be side by side, Jatin and R34. Who's going to come out on top in this battle? And it's going to be R34 for now, but then Jatin dives up the inside. Is there going to be any contact? Thankfully it doesn't look like it's too much. And Jatin, has he made the move stick into the next part of the corner? Yes, he has, and that's a nice move there from the Ferrari man. But is that going to be Danny up the inside of R34? It is indeed. There's a little bit of touching, but Danny gets the move, and up to P4 he now goes on to the penultimate lap of this US Grand Prix at Texas. The two Mercedes switch positions. Vapid gets ahead of his teammate Kozlowski as Tom Gordon sets the fastest lap of the race. and it's side by side now. Jatin going for the move on Tom Gorian into turn 1. Has he completed the move? He has for now. But what is going to be the comeback from behind? Surely that is not going to be the end of this battle here. It's going to be DRS open for Danny M7 in the Red Bull car, and for Tom Gorian as well. Could this be Jatin under some pressure as well? Into turn number 13. It's not quite any action, as Kozlezko has lost out as well, as he makes side by side action with Smallgirl, as well as action further behind as well with the V carb of Polar and Jamie side by side with each other as well. And who's going to come out on top? It looks like for now it's going to be Polar. His tyre now sets the fast lap as we go into the final lap of this Grand Prix. And heading into turn 1. DRS for Danny. He has a think about it. Does the Red Bull, and his action further behind, side by side. Smallgirl, Kozlezko and Apple as well, trying to get in on the action side by side through turn number 2, and it's Apple who moves up that one position. Vapid gets a penalty, so does Apple. Oh, and there's contact there. Apple getting away with one there, but can the drivers make any sort of gaps, or will penalties be the crucial factor? Kozlezko makes a position in the background, but there's DRS open as well as we head into turn 13. Side by side, Danny up the inside of Tom Gorian, and it is move complete from the Red Bull there. But what action's going to be further behind? Side by side as well, and it's Apple ahead of Smallgirl for the moment. Is there any action in the next part? And it's move complete there, and that is going to settle that, and it's going to be LTK Tarrier who's going to round the final corner, and he's going to win. He's won at round 1 at Brazil, and he's won round 2 at the Texas Grand Prix as well. It's going to be Jatin across the line for P2, but how are the penalties going to play out? Jatin keeps P2, and it's R34 P3. There's action all over in terms of the penalties. So LTK Tarrier wins here in Texas with Jatin making it a Ferrari 1-2, with R34 completing the podium. Then it's Danny in P4 with Tom P5. Kozlezko was P6 with Vapid P7. Jamie P8 with Hutchins P9. Smallgirl P10. Then it's Apple 11th and Polar. Rounding out the points scoring positions, then it's Verstappen, Gnarly, Mr. Diaz, Mastor Paldonado, Ben Max, FaZe Ashton, Simon, and Not Cross Frog.